I lay down my favorite quick bite chakra teaching? The chakras were a big thing that I was teaching when I was more into the new age aspect of things, and then teaching later from more of a traditional standpoint. And now I feel like I found a really good center on it. Um, I don't like when chakras are turned into a visualization. Like, in other words, if I'm like, okay, my solar plexus is a bright golden yellow, and it is the mudra, um, and it is the symbol, and it is like, to me, that is getting very, very far away from the very direct sensation in my solar plexus as it is right now. So that's my only kind of warning, is that a lot of times it's really easy to build an intense visualization about something that actually exists in this present moment as it is. It's nothing that we have to create anything else out of. And so I remember one time teaching a Reiki class, and one of the students was like, "Hey, I got a bone to pick. Before we start this class, I don't believe in chakras. What of it?" And I
Throwing
was
the
like,
gauntlet
good.
down.
I was like, good. What are you going around believing in things for anyway? And what's the point in believing in chakras? I believe in chakras. I believe in chakras. That to me is going to take us very far away. And so what I said was, have you ever had a hard time expressing something, and in your throat it felt like this? Have you ever had a heartbreak, and in that heartbreak there's an actual physiological pain that cuts across the center of your chest? And of course, that we all have. That's a part of life. I'm like, well, that's your chakra. Like, we don't have to turn it into a big fetishized spiritual experience, but actually, this is just the way our body works.
Hmm.
And so, going through the chakras, there's also a lot of teachings are about opening. It's always about opening. It's about opening. You can open too much. It's very, very possible. An easy example would just be to express the heart. If our heart chakra, our heart center, the energy surrounding this intelligence, which I call it vibrational intelligence of this area, is focused on, obsessed over, and then it's the only thing that we open up fully, we can become a martyr, meaning that I give so much of myself away that I have nothing left for myself. However, in the same heart area, if we are feeling cut off and blocked and there's wounds, we're not giving any of ourselves. We're connecting to other people. That's going to feel isolated and lonely. So if we look to each of the areas of intelligence, we can call them chakras, but I like calling them areas of intelligence. There is an over exaggerated and then there's a deficient form. So let's go through them all very, very quickly. With our root chakra, when we're feeling our legs and our hips, if it is super open, which means we're focused and it's dominating, then we're going to be attached to the material realm, because that's our root chakra. This is where we connect to the material realm. So if that's all we're focusing on, it's going to be possible to start to stockpile, hoard, and really like just be like, I am stuck in this body. But if we're disconnected from it, as most hippies and people like myself, fairy type creatures are, completely disconnected from the ground, then we are flimsy as fuck. In an energetic sense, we have no foundation, and it's super easy to be knocked over, bowled over, and to fall over all the time. So the middle would be to be comfortable with my connection to the earth, to be comfortable with the connection to my body, but not to obsess over nor deny it. Moving up into the sacral, this is right below the belly button. Let's actually, if you're with me right now, watching this live, please feel these areas as well. When we feel this area, what does it feel like when we feel cut off in that area? There's a lack of sensuality. There's a coldness. There's an inability to feel soft and pretty and nice on the inside. However, when it is exaggerated, a lack of sexual and emotional boundaries is there. So, in other words, we're like outwardly questing to try and find something to fill it. And I personally, that would be the thing that I've experienced quite a bit in my
Hmm.
life. So, if it's too open and it's dominating, then it's going to take over everything. It's all about just fulfilling my little emotional needs. But if it's closed off, then we don't even are not in touch with our primal and emotional needs, and that can be just as much a problem. With the solar plexus, if it's deficient, it's essentially just shame, the manifestation of shame. So there's a feeling of like, I'm worthless and nothing about me is good, and I've got no power in my center,
Hmm.
no energy in my center, and I just should go fuck myself. But then on the other side, an exaggerated form is like what we think of as incredible egotism. And the intensity of being like, I'm always right and I'm the fucking leader and everyone else bow down to me. Like, that would be the exaggerated form. In the heart, as we spoke about, either completely cut off or giving so much of ourselves that we're like depleted in energy, and that's not a lot of self-love in that act. With the throat, if there's a feeling, it starts to cut off, then it starts to back up because I
Hmm.
can't express myself.
Yes.
But on the other side of that is dominating conversations and bowling people over and being like, I'm going to talk about what I'm talking about, and you can all just seriously screw right off. So that again, the balance is just being able to express ourselves as it comes up and listen to other people. With the third eye chakra, have you ever met a person with a dominant third eye chakra that's like maybe a bit exaggerated? I believe that's actually just what mental illness is. Like incredible forms of mental illness in terms of potentially schizophrenia, certainly incredible anxiety. When paranoia starts to take over, that's taking in so much information that it's actually unmanageable
Yes.
and things become quite cloudy. And on the other side is if we don't have a third eye or an intuition, we feel like we're in the dark, like nothing makes any sense. There's no cohesion to the universe or to our lives. So that's not good either. And then the crown chakra is if it's completely blown wide open, like I'm only crown, I'm all up here in the crown, then you're like a lollipop, man. Like the big energy, and then this like flimsy ass stick, and in that it becomes possible to obsess and become fundamental over those types of things, like being like a religious zealot essentially, but also being so disconnected from the ground and from our bodies that we're not even really able to have any sort of impact here. And on the other side, if that part is cut off, then obviously that's awful. We're not connected to the source. We're disconnected from a spiritual source and really stuck in the body. So each of those chakras has an over exaggerated and a deficient form. And if we think about our whole body as being whole, that means that we want to have each of those areas of intelligence open and communicating with all the others. So being connected to the ground without being exaggerated on it is beautiful. It means I'm comfortable in my body and I'm comfortable here on the earth, which is something that a lot of Buddhist theology never really got to. We're always trying to get out of it, right?
Hmm.
um, I'm comfortable in my sexuality, then I know when it's time to be able to express that with people, and it's a very in the moment feeling that we can actually manifest. That's not necessarily too much or too little. If our solar plexus is strong, then I can make decisions. I can say yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree, but it doesn't really matter to my self confidence. It's possible to be real. And if my heart is open but not, I can connect to people, but I'm certainly not going to hurt myself over that connection. And here again, it's the ability to express oneself without pushing it onto other people, the ability to see clearly, clear as day with that third eye. I'm able to see the things around me and I'm able to see the patterns in life, but I'm not going to let it overwhelm me, nor am I going to ignore it. And then to be able to be connected to our source through our crown, but also making sure to connect that crown through the whole rest of our body.